Well, thank you so much for coming back. What I'd love to do now is just read a short passage from my new book, which I'm currently working on, which is Luck, um, and see what you think. I'd love to have your feedback. This book isn't finished yet, although I know what's going to happen in the end. I'm not quite sure everything that's going to happen. There are some subplots that I need to work on. So there's still a chance for you to let me know what you think you'd like to see. Um, So Lucky is the main character, and at chapter 5, he is up to no good, we think. He's having these secret meetings in the forest, and that's set in a real location, Laborde Mountain, near to where I live in New Orleans. Um, so we open with Lucky had just seen Tony jog past the house. Lucky had spotted him through the window as he was just helping Rebecca get more comfortable for her second night on the couch. Lucky would have to put off his flirtations with her till later. Tony liked to don sneakers and sweatpants and jog around a small leafy corner of City Park. His friends and neighbours would wave to him as he jogged out from his mother's apartment with the 4th-floor walk up. It was usually after nightfall that he would lollop along the street he grew up in and pant his way back for the peanut butter and jelly sandwich his mother had made him to have before bed since he had been at high school. In his 40s now, Tony had a wedding to lose weight for, his own. A desk job had softened his middle and given him a gut that even his peach cummerbund could not conceal. He had promised his bride-to-be that he would get back to running again, lose some weight and tone up before the big day. So Lucky knew he had less than 2 hours to complete the rendezvous he needed to and meet Tony as if by accident as Tony jogged around the base of Laborde Mountain just before 10 p.m. When Lucky once again stood on the concrete map of New Orleans at the top of that little stargazing platform, he was prickling all over from the tension. He badly wanted a cigarette, but had a superstitious fear of lighting one. Something about the flare of flame and then the smoke rising up above him seemed disrespectful to the powerful spirits of the woods. He felt his very skin was listening to the forest all around him. Every rustle in the trees could have been these demons he had to do business with. The 2-foot soldiers who had shown up had been unpleasant men. Lucky didn't particularly enjoy meeting them alone, but what choice did he have? He could not run the risk of anyone finding out about these conversations. The two of them seemed to have been drilled with the same message. Tell the viewers about illegals, one of them had begun, his voice barely a whisper. Tell them that Venezuela is the root of all evil, commies every last one, and they'd kill you in your bed if they were ever allowed here. Talk about Roscoe, chimed in his ugly accomplice, the only man for the job. Roscoe has the guts to build the wall and keep the Venezuelans out. Okay, Lucky was musing, trying to work out whether both of these foul little men had guns on them. Almost certainly they did. An awful lot of people in New Orleans carry concealed, but these two might even have automatic weapons. I didn't think Roscoe was running in the primaries, he said. He'll do what we tell him to. Lucky swallowed hard. This group of men could be very persuasive. He knew that firsthand. Could you please do something for me? He said as they were turning to leave. They gave snorts or grunts. He couldn't make out their faces in the dark. They didn't bother to conceal their identities from him. He was hardly going to tell anyone, was he? The emotion might have been derision, but he pressed on. My neighbour needs an insurance payout to be fast-tracked. She's with Liberty Mutual. The two men were already disappearing into the darkness, clambering down the slippery slope of tree roots. Lucky had no way of knowing whether they had heard his request, but it was too risky to stay here any longer. He made himself wait in the moonlit clearing for a full 5 minutes, as long as he could possibly stand it. Those two bad guys must have driven off by now. He tiptoed his way down to ground level. He thought he caught a glimpse of Tony lumbering along. Lucky started a slow gamble in the same direction, not too fast, so his friend could catch up to him. Lucky, Tony crowed. How the devil are you? Out for some road work yourself, same as me? For a second there I thought you were a mugger, ha ha. What a coincidence, Lucky grinned. Can I interest you in a bite at my place when we get back? I think we've earned the calories. Well, that would be very nice. They jogged along and joined the path by Harrison Avenue. It was so cold out considering where they were. Lucky was glad he had warmed up a little. This was the kind of night where you could pop a hamstring. Got a neighbour staying. Lucky was careful to keep his voice casual. Her place has been flooded out. Ooh, I'm sorry to hear that for her sake. A flood's an expensive job, said Tony. And boy, is she ever eye candy. This was Lucky. Tony chuckled. You're a married man. As they arrived, Lucky stopped by his parked jeep, reached inside, and gave the horn a tiny little bib as if to let his wife know he was back. It had the effect of letting everyone in the street know where he was at that moment, and that he had currently returned from a nice jog with his friend Tony. No one would wonder whether they had set out together. If asked, all his neighbours would confirm that Lucky must have been with Tony for a minimum of the couple hours it took to run around the shortest circular route through City Park and the forest. As they came into the house, Rebecca and Anne were glowering at each other. I just thought it had gone bad, that's all, Rebecca was saying. Tony's here for dinner, Lucky called, trying to calm his girls down. Well, I hope he doesn't want any of that delicious smothered pork chop casserole I made, Anne exclaimed. Rebecca was not as apologetic as you might expect. I am sorry, I threw it in the trash. It smelled funny. Oh, not to worry, Lucky sang out, much to the rage of his wife. I feel like takeout anyhow. Taco Bell okay for everyone. He took out his cell phone to start placing their order, and before Anne could say another word of objection, he turned on the stereo and blasted them all with some Miles Davis. Tony, I'll leave you to introduce yourself to Rebecca. Lucky grabbed Anne's hand and danced her out of the kitchen. In their bedroom, he pulled her down onto their bed in a bear hug. What's eating my beautiful wife? He whispered. Only I should eat you.